What if I told you the most powerful conqueror in human history wasn't just a military genius, but a master of the law of attraction, and that everything he achieved, he had already seen in his mind, years before it actually went down? This isn't a history lesson. This is a blueprint for how one man used the power of his mind to go from a nobody on a tiny island to the emperor of the most powerful nation on the planet. In 1769, on a small island called Corsica, a boy was born into a family with nothing special going for them. His dad was a lawyer. They weren't rich, they weren't powerful, and Corsica wasn't even France. His name was Napoleon Bonaparte, and from day one, he was different. While other kids were out playing, Napoleon read. While other boys dreamed of small lives, Napoleon visualized an empire. At just 9 years old, he got shipped off to military school in France. He could barely speak French. The other kids laughed at his accent, called him a foreigner, an outsider. But Napoleon didn't see what they saw. He saw something else entirely. He saw his destiny. Napoleon Bonaparte flat out refused to believe in the word impossible. He once said, "Impossible is a word found only in the dictionary of fools." This wasn't just a quote. This was how he lived. Every single day, Napoleon visualized his victories before they happened. He was known for having vivid dreams and battle instincts so sharp, his own generals couldn't explain them. He'd study maps for hours, not just planning, but seeing himself winning in his mind over and over again. This is exactly what the law of attraction teaches. Visualize the outcome. Believe it's already yours. Then take massive action. Napoleon did all three. In 1800, Napoleon decided to cross the Alps with his entire army. His generals said it was impossible. Military experts said it had never been done. Even the locals told him to turn back. An old woman on the road warned him, "Nobody has ever crossed the Alps. Whoever tried never came back." Napoleon just smiled, took off his precious necklace, and gave it to her. Then he turned to his army and said, "There shall be no Alps." And they crossed. Not because the mountain disappeared, but because Napoleon had already crossed it 1,000 times in his mind. That is the law of attraction in action. By age 24, Napoleon was already a general. By age 30, he was the first consul of France, the most powerful man in the country. By age 35, he crowned himself emperor. Not because somebody handed it to him, but because he had decided it years before. He once wrote in his journal as a young man, "I will be emperor of France." At that point in time, he was a nobody, just a broke kid from Corsica. But he wrote it anyway. He believed it anyway. He acted on it anyway. And the universe delivered. What Napoleon understood that most people never figure out is that your outer world is always a reflection of your inner world. He got that morale was everything. That belief was a weapon, way more powerful than any sword or cannon. He put enormous energy into building up the confidence of his soldiers because he knew a man who believes he's gonna win already has the advantage. This isn't magic. This isn't luck. This is focus. This is belief. This is becoming the person who deserves the result. Napoleon Hill, the guy who wrote Think and Grow Rich, the best-selling success book in history, was directly inspired by stories like Napoleon Bonaparte's. He spent 20 years studying the world's most successful people. And you know what he found? Every single one of them had one thing in common. They saw their success before it happened. They believed it before anybody else did. They acted on it before they had any proof. That is the law of attraction. That is Napoleon's secret. And it's available to you right now. Napoleon Bonaparte started out as an outsider, a broke kid laughed at for his accent, but he had a vision. He wrote it down. He visualized it every single day. He took relentless action, and he became the emperor of the world. So let me ask you something. What is your empire? What have you already seen in your mind, but haven't acted on yet? Write it down today. Believe it completely. Act like it's already on its way to you. Because if a kid from Corsica could conquer the world with his mind, what is your excuse? Follow for more untold stories that prove your mind is your greatest weapon.